All right, guys. Hello. Thanks for coming, everyone, today. I really appreciate it. This is actually the first Better Results Faster workshop that we've run since COVID, so I'm actually really excited. So excited that I'm here on my day off. So, look, you're going to learn a lot today. Hopefully, you can walk away from here with a better understanding of what chiropractic is, why you're getting adjusted, and also I'll give you some real practical tips on how to get better results faster. And that's what it's called today, better results faster. It's not worse results slower. So, well done for coming. And I really want to just start the day really by, obviously, if you've not all met Regan, have we met Regan before? No? Okay, so Regan, Dr. Regan, he's my main man, so he's going to be adjusting yourself, Fiona, and George. Hello, George. How are you, mate? Good. So, so look, let's begin. Okay. So, as I said, what we're going to go over today is at the end some really basic ways to hold your adjustments longer, because really how you get better is the longer you hold your adjustments. Okay, so we're going to get back to the sitting, the sleeping, and the standing. Okay, but I really want to just go over quickly some philosophy of chiropractic. Now, does anybody remember what this word is? It's a big word. Hopefully I spell it right. But does anybody remember what subluxation means? Anyone got any ideas there? I'll start you off, you guys. So remember, what we're doing in here is obviously we're checking and assessing your spine for subluxation. Subluxation, in short, is a movement of a joint away from a normal healthy position. Okay? It puts an interference into your nervous system. So let me say that again. It's a movement of a joint away from a normal healthy position, which puts an interference into your nervous system. So the body is not able to really express its full potential. Okay. So what we're doing is we're checking, assessing, and correcting these subluxations so the brain can speak better to the body. Okay, and vice versa. So that's really just a very basic understanding of what a subluxation is, but I want to give you more of an understanding of how it affects the nervous system. So I'm going to present to you a little bit of an idea here, okay? And this idea is called the safety pin cycle. Okay, so does everyone know what a safety pin is, by the way? Mm-hmm. Come on in. Come on in. I'll grab a seat.
Let's hook it up. Yeah.
You good? Cool. All right, so a safety pin. Do we all know what a safety pin is? Yep. Good. If you don't, players at home, just Google. Okay, so I'm going to try my best at, drawing a safety pin. Here we go. So here's the top, and this is your brain. Okay, and at the bottom, let's call this a tissue cell. Okay, so brain and tissue cell. This is how your nervous system operates. The brain communicates to the tissue cell via an efferent, bear with me here guys, I know it's big words, but this is a motor pathway. Okay, now what that means is that this tissue cell, it needs something, right? It needs blood, it needs a chemical change, it needs a pressure change, it needs something. So the information is communicated to the brain, and this is an afferent pathway. Okay, which is sensory. So we have a sensory pathway and a motor pathway. Sensory is, as I said before, the information delivered to the brain for what the body needs. And then the motor pathway is the delivery of that information, whether it be chemical, nutritional, whatever it might be, something. Okay. So a subluxation creates an interference into that communication system. Boom. So all of a sudden, we do not have this communication system happening effectively. The brain is not receiving information that it needs, and therefore the information that it sends out to the rest of the body is inhibited. So what does that mean? What does this open safety pin mean? What does this open circle mean? Well, it means one thing. It means, firstly, we're going to get dysfunction, okay? Dysfunction. Now, dysfunction will lead to another D, and it's going to mean, just bear with me when I say this word here. It's not and that's for you at home, disease. It's not the disease that you're thinking right now. It's really the aberrant creation of cells. So your cells are always regenerating, yes? And they're generating healthy cells. But when we have dysfunction or disconnect in this communication system, we start to regenerate unhealthy cells, disease cells, okay? So this disease cells, this process, this constant continuation of dysfunction to disease will lead to damage, okay? And then eventually we will lead to some sort of critical breakdown. And that's everything we're trying to avoid, okay? We don't want to get to this point of absolute breakdown, okay? So, again, just to kind of reiterate how the nervous system works, there is a communication between the brain and the body. The body is always asking the brain for what it needs. The brain will deliver whatever it needs. But when we have an interference in that communication system, we lead to dysfunction, which can lead to disease, which can lead to damage, which means that your body will not be at its optimal, okay, at its optimal best. Now, that leads me to another question that I might ask you. What is chiropractic? Is it chronic pain management, acute pain management? Is it, wellness care? Is it maintenance care? Is it posture? What is it? Anybody know?
Posture. All of it.
All of them.
Yes. Yeah. Has anyone heard of this little word? Let me just rub all this out. Do we all understand that? Hopefully we kind of get where that's going. Subluxation, I'll get you guys to spell that later.
Oh.
All right. Come on in there. There might be another chair you want to grab. Grab the chair from the back and then bring it down. Bring it down. So, what is chiropractic? Well, who knows what this word is? Let's do it in red. Who knows what that is? Yep. Those that are smiling generally know it most. Okay. So, stress. What is stress? Well, in here, we like to talk about stress and we break it down into three things. The 3 T's. We've heard about that, yes? The 3 T's? Yeah? Okay. So the first T would be thoughts. All right, so the first T are the emotional stresses. These are all stresses that I'm going to write. T, T, T. The emotional stresses. Okay, so what pretty much we're getting, we're almost conditioned to waking up looking for stress every morning. Obviously with this wonderful past year that we've had, it's been a stressful situation where, we're worrying about, obviously, the virus. We're worrying about super spreaders. We're worrying about, different strains and different types and this and that and vaccines and all the rest of it. We're looking at TV and we're looking at wars. We're looking at near wars. We're looking at financial issues. We're looking at, problems at home. We're having issues at work. There is a constant bombardment of stress. What's really interesting here is that in our normal operating state, so you and I sitting here, we're generally in an alpha brainwave state, okay? And it's been measured, scientists have measured that at 7.83 hertz, okay? What's really interesting is that the Earth's electromagnetic field has a resonance. It's called the Schumann resonance of 7.83 hertz. That's just its normal operating frequency that it emits. So when we are in balance with the Earth. But when we are stressed, it takes us out of balance. Why? Because a stressed brain has been measured to drop in your alpha wave. So anxiety, depression, all has lowered states of alpha brainwave. So that means, again, that we feel disconnected, not only to ourselves, not only to our families, not only to our friends, our communities, our societies, and the global population at home, global population on a whole, we feel disconnected from. So the idea is to understand that, hang on, what are these stresses that are throwing me out of balance? Okay, what's creating these issues in my life? And we need to have practices to be able to not negate, but to adapt to these stresses, okay? Stress also, by the way, is scientists have seen that stress does shut down one of the hemispheres of the brain. So what happens is that, you know, if you're a right-sided thinker normally, you lose your creativity. Left-sided, that logic, gone. What happens then? Your brain generally decussates. So the communication, like we were talking about that pin cycle before, it crosses at the medulla. So what we find is that what happens is one side of the body shortens up. So you get a short leg, muscles tighten on one side, and the other side is weak. But we're talking about muscles, we've also got to think about the organs inside. This is the same thing, this tonic expression of interference into the nervous system is happening within the body too. So again, stresses are so important as they are taking us away from our ability to really perceive the world and to react in a world where we can express our full potential. Okay, so thoughts are a really big one. Okay, thoughts are a huge one. The next T is traumas. Okay, so what we'll go over today is your micro trauma. So you know, the bad habits when it comes to sitting, sleeping, and standing. Okay, the other ones are of course big accidents, injuries, surgeries, etc. Okay. Now, the last stress to our nervous system will be toxins. And toxins covers the food we eat, the drink we drink, potentially the drugs that we take. Okay. And again, in this world that we're living in, and I'm talking about this COVID world that we're living in at the moment, let's focus more on the strength of the host, not the strength of the virus. Especially in Australia, where the fatality is under 1%. We can definitely beat this thing. So let's make sure that we're looking at our stresses and we're seeing really what influences the way that we exist in this world, okay? So bring that stress, thoughts, trauma, toxins, back to a subluxation. So as I said, there is an increase with these 3 T's, there is another T that happens, and it's an increase in tone. So, you know, when you flex a muscle, that's an increase in the muscle tone, right? So this tone happens, as I said, systemically throughout the body, which can pull vertebra this way and that, which then, therefore, if you want to get more into the engineering component, Leo, and the structural component of how this technique works, your body then compensates by winding and twisting for these subluxation patterns, which are caused by stresses, okay? So we're looking at unwinding your body, and we're looking at, whilst unwinding your body, we're taking away the interference of the nervous system, but we're also allowing your body to express, again, its full potential, okay? So how does that work? How does an adjustment work? Well, we put it, oh, I rubbed it out, didn't I? Remember that the safety pin? We put an input into the afferent side. So we adjust the vertebral segment, which takes away the nerve interference. What happens, I think the best way to describe this is, you know, when your phone kind of shits itself, I'm using a better word, you know, when your phone doesn't work and it kind of freezes, what do we do to fix that? We turn it off, right? So we stop the electrical current. Does that make sense? Turn it back on, bang. So an adjustment is exactly that. Think about an adjustment less than just correcting a vertebral segment and creating good posture. Think about it as a reboot to your system. All right, think about it as we're turning the phone on and off again. So the brain therefore lights up and the information that gets sent back down that tissue cell is clean, clear, and crisp. That's why after an adjustment, your breath comes in big. You feel like this release. You feel like your posture's taller. You feel like the tone in the muscles have dropped. Okay, so think more about the adjustments as the reset to your nervous system. Okay, but of course, yes, we are then correcting your posture as well. But think of it that way. That's just the message I really wanted to try and make you get today. So when you're out there for a barbecue and people ask you, why do you go get adjusted every week? Well, you can tell them, well, my chiropractor looks in it, he checks my spine, assesses me for any misalignments or subluxations. He removes that so the brain can talk to the body talks to the brain, and I'm at my optimum. I feel my best, I live my best life. Simple as that, okay? That's why I get adjusted. That's why Regan and I get adjusted every week as well, right? So, does that make sense in terms of what creates the subluxation? Stress, thoughts, trauma, toxins. Good. And what a subluxation is. Now, this, yes.
Does this happen with everybody? Do we have people that would not be
I've,
subluxed?
I've not met one person who hasn't, have you met a person that's not lived in stress?
Everybody will go through.
Every single body. There is, right from birth as well, when we can have traumas in delivery, the way children are delivered. That can start right from the onset, or even earlier in the womb, if mum experiences any toxins as well. So this stress can happen way, before we're even born. Okay, so yes, I've never met someone who hasn't been subluxated or stressed. I'd like to meet that person. If you ever meet them, let me know. Send them down. Tell them they should tell us what they're doing right. Because, yeah, exactly. They should be up here speaking. All right, so what I wanted to get to, keep flipping this board over. I want to get to this innate intelligence because, again, this is a bit more of the philosophical side of chiropractic. Innate intelligence is the power that makes the body, is the power that heals the body. It is in every living organism. It is in everyone in this room. It's in your pets. It's in your plants. It's everywhere. This innate intelligence comes from above, down, and inside out. And so what that means is that when the brain and the spinal cord is your bioelectrical activity, that's where it's all happening. So that's where this prana, this chi, this life force exists. When we take away the pressure or the interference to the nervous system, you are then able to express your innate intelligence at its fullest. Okay, so what that means as well is that if we are again, let me just stop there again. If we are under stress, our potential to express our innate intelligence, our life force is limited. It's inhibited. So chiropractic really becomes a success strategy for healthy people. Okay, because we're looking at the thoughts, the trauma, the toxins, so we can really express our full potential, our innate intelligence. Okay, really, it's a lovely philosophical approach to chiropractic. As you can see, this is why it's quite holistic in the way that we look at health. Okay, so how do we get better? Let me bring your attention to the three-legged stool. This is pretty simple stuff. Okay, there's 3 legs to correction, or 3 legs to getting better. This first one is adjustments. So adjustments, chiropractic adjustments, we know how that works. We know that it reboots the system, okay? We know that we're taking the pressure and the interference off the nervous system so the brain can actually communicate better to the body, and so your body can express its full potential in the way that it is designed. So adjustments in rhythm is crucial because it's kind of like when you go to the gym, you go maybe once a week, once a fortnight, once a month. You're not really going to get the results if you go a little bit regularly earlier, because we're trying to create neurophysiological adaptation. We are trying to make the changes that we're creating in the body to be perceived by the brain. So the brain, again, just a little bit of neurology, it starts to remap the body, okay? And you start to create new pathways. So we're actually really creating a whole lot of neurological changes with adjustments in rhythm, okay? Does that make sense? The next one is breaking the bad habits. Break bad habits. Now, as I said, this is today we're going to go over the bad habits, sitting, sleeping, and standing. But, we need to eat well, we need to move well, we need to think well as well. So breaking the bad habits doesn't just come around this physical, structural stuff we'll go over. It also will come into nutrition, movement, and also mental health, okay? In this clinic, we're set up with really helping people with a dietitian in here, a hypnotherapist, a counsellor. We have the traditional Chinese medicine and acupuncture to help with this, with breaking the bad habits in terms of, as I said, nutritional, diet, movement, or mental. Okay. So the last one is, well, exercise, or let's just say movement. Okay. So, by the way, just a quick question with that, and today what I'll talk to you about today in movement and exercise is really the things you shouldn't be doing. Regan and I will give you specific exercises once your body has unwound to a point that we can start prescribing care that will stabilize your structure. We don't want to stabilize a structure that's out and that's interfered with, okay, where the nervous system isn't working just yet. We want to stabilize a structure or a foundation that is rooted in stability, okay? So who here is getting adjusted at the moment? Pretty much everyone, right? Except you, Tony. Yeah, pretty much everyone. And you're all pretty much in the first stages of your care. So first month, first couple of months. So what that means is just bringing you back to this. I just wanted to say the rhythm there is so important. Those that in your first month or your first 2 months, you're going to be coming in more regularly, okay? Then we start to back it off, okay? So then the idea is, as I said before, neurophysiological adaptation. So in this first 2 months, the things you shouldn't be doing, firstly, in regards to exercise, is running over 6K, okay? We've sort of figured out that over about 6K, you start to lose that stability, okay? You sort of see people there looking like T-Rexes running around, okay? So that's something that's something we'll get you to. Like if you're a runner, it's not, we don't want you to do that forever. It's just as we're making these serious changes to your body, we want to hold those adjustments as long as we can. So avoiding things like running, long distance running, avoiding things that are going to stress your system out, okay? Look, it's almost impossible in a work environment. We're going to get stressed, but you know, finding ways to adapt to that stress is also important. Some other structural things would be like yoga, doing yin yoga. I do it every morning. I love it. But doing things like yin yoga will have an issue in terms of destabilizing your body, especially in the lower back. Okay, so they're those real long held postures. That's not great in your first couple months of care. That doesn't mean it's going to be forever. It's just at the start of your care. It's all about getting stability. Remember, the body is only trying to gain harmony. It wants balance. So what we're trying to do is balance the system, okay? Now, the last one is, what did I mention? Is breaking bad habits. So I think we can get straight into how to sit, sleep, and stand correctly. That is if you don't have any other questions before I move on. None? No? All good? Cool. So we're happy with that? Excellent. What should we do first? Let's do sitting, seeing as everyone's sitting. How about everyone at home? We all good? Yeah, sweet, fantastic. They're still there. Hopefully they can hear me. All right, so those of you who've been getting adjusted, remember when we start with what's called a slump test. So before you get adjusted, and generally after every adjustment, you're standing here, we breathe in, and you breathe out, relax the shoulders, let the body go. And you can kind of see how I'm slumping forward. In fact, I'll get Regan to do this one. We might do standing and then we might go into sitting, okay? So we do get adjusted every week, but you know, we adjust a lot of people, so we're not fantastic. I haven't been adjusted since Tuesday, neither has Regan. Let's see your slump test today. Big breath in, breathing out, relax shoulders, let it go. So what we do is we look for how the breath is traveling through the body. And remember, we want stability in the body. That's what we're looking for. So I can see that his shoulders are rounding. Can you see that? I can see that as he takes another breath in, the breath isn't quite getting all the way up into the upper lobes of the lungs, but for Regan, it really is this rounded posture, okay? So for when you guys, this slump test is something that I want you to take everywhere. If you're going to buy some shoes, you're going to do this slump test, and you're going to pop your shoes on, see if it actually destabilizes you further. If you've got a lower back issue, what happens is the pelvis generally goes forward. It's unstable in the lower pelvis, so it'll be like that. So just play around with when you want to buy shoes, for example. That's something that you want to do, apart from just walking around in them. Now, for women, obviously heels. You don't look at me like that. Obviously, heels aren't ideal, okay? The reason is, when you're wearing heels, we're going up and you're literally throwing your pelvis forward, okay? But to do that, we have to try and work our way forward. So we've got this weird, I'm going to try and do it. Right? We've got this compensation from the body being thrown forward on the heels. We've got to reef back into the lower back, and that's when we're walking like so. So heels aren't always great, okay? So really make sure that, you know, if you're going out, for the younger females, if you're going out dancing on a Saturday night and you wake up sore on a Sunday morning, I wonder what caused it, okay? Especially in the lower back. So for the men as well, shoes-wise, anything with a little bit of a heel lift stabilizes the body, okay? It creates a better angle in your pelvis, and we are able to really use the postural supporting muscles, okay? All the extensors, the glutes, the core, as well as the extensors in the back. So I'm going to show you just how a little heel lift changes. And by the way, you guys at home that are also working on a stand-up desk, you can use this with just a folded towel, okay, at your stand-up desk if you guys are doing this there. So, Regan, just do another slump test for us. Breathe in, breathe out, relax the shoulders, let it go. And I'm just going to pop these under his heels. Yeah, down you come. You can just move if you feel uncomfortable. And then let's just watch how his shoulders work from here. So breathe in, breathe out, relax your shoulders, let it go. Can you see how it's kind of held him back a little bit? So go again, mate. It's kind of held those shoulders back a little bit. It's kept him a little bit more upright. Step forward and just do it one without so people can see. Breathe in, breathe out, relax your shoulders, let it go. See how much more kind of roundedness and slump there was through here? I don't know if you guys can see that, but that's something that we look at all the time. Yeah, if you want to do one more, do one more. Okay, now that's something that I want you to think about, guys. And with shoes, we want as much room in the midfoot, and we want to make sure that when you have a shoe and you bend it, it actually bends in the midfoot. Okay, that's where the toes are. A lot of like Birkenstocks, for example, unfortunately do not bend at all. So your foot's bending around the shoe. So those sorts of shoes aren't great. Okay, I love them as well.
Yeah,
they're just not great. All right, so Regan's going to now have a seat, mate. He's going to just show us a slump test in a seating position. Okay, so. Way you go, mate. Just breathe in, breathe out, relax your shoulders, let it go. And you see how much he's slumping here now. Now, what we're going to do here, he's quite tall, so just remember the main thing with finding your sitting position is the height between the knee and the hip. We never want to be in that kind of bucket seat, knee higher than the hip position, okay? That's going to compress all the structures in the lower back, and we're going to compensate for that, and we're going to round as well. So when we have a wedge, I'll pop this out first, and now I might need to build this seat up a little bit higher, so we'll just kind of workshop this. You guys all grab your seat wedges in as well, and now just grab them, pull them out of the thingo, and by the way, the beveled edge goes that side down, but we'll do this in a second. Just watch up front for a moment. So Regan, breathe in, breathe out, relax the shoulders, let it go. So there's still a bit of slump, isn't there? Like, let's have a look there. Go again. Breathe in, breathe out, relax shoulders, let it go. There's still a bit of slump. I'm not liking how much he's still slumping because the angle of the hip and the knee isn't quite there yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to increase the height. Regan, just stand up for a sec. So what we'll do is we'll pop a towel underneath. Okay, and we'll see how we go with this one. So when you're ready, mate, breathing in, breathing out, relax the shoulders, let it go. Still not quite there yet either. Sitting up again. So he needs to get a bit higher. By the way, with these guys, you don't have to, you can lean back onto the chair rest at home as well. You don't have to be always kind of sitting forward. I think Regan's just doing this as a demonstration. So we're kind of getting a better angle now from the, see how the hip to the pelvis, it's getting to that height now. Breathing in, breathing out, relax the shoulders, let it go. Yeah, still could go a bit more. Standing up just one more time, mate. I'm just going, we're going to have to get another towel. Okay. Let's see how we go here. All right. So again, mate, breathe in, breathe out, relax shoulders, let the body go. Better. See that? Did we see that he's still got some slump there, okay, but he hasn't been adjusted in a few days. But did you see that the slump, did you guys see it? It was less, yeah? Mm. So stand up, sit down. Look at that. See the difference? I want you guys to try it now, okay? So have a breath without the seat first. So just do the slump test whilst you're sitting there. Big breath in. Breathe out, relax shoulders, let the body go. Notice how much you're slumping from that position. Yeah? Cool. So now what we're going to do, for the players at home, you can use a couple folded towels because you don't have these seat wedges. So quickly run off and get a few towels, fold it like so, and put it at the back of your chair. Now you guys here, you've got those seat wedges. So these beveled edges here go downways. The big bit goes at the back. Have a go here. Yep, that's it. Cool. And of course, you taller guys that might have a little bit more of an issue. Where's let's go? Breathing in, breathing out, back shoulders, let it go. Not bad, not bad. Did we feel the difference there? Can you feel how it stops you slumping? Everyone's kind of giving me a nod. Is there anyone that doesn't feel the difference? Leo, you're quite tall there as well, so you might need more. Have a go at one or two of these. Wes, you look pretty good there. But remember, we want the hips to be higher than the knees, okay? Not the knees higher than the hips. That is the main takeaway with this. Hips higher than knees. All right, so we all feel that difference there, yeah? So this is the reason why this is important is because a lot of us work for 8 hours a day. Sitting is the new smoking, by the way. We're not designed to be sitting for 8. Well, because we'll catch public transport if we're going to work. Then we'll go. So we'll be sitting. Then we'll go home. We'll watch Netflix. So we're essentially sitting for 12, 14 hours of the day. Not good for us. Now this will help keep us upright. It will help hold our adjustments, and also will help oxygenate your system as you get through the day. As you can imagine, the more and more you slump, the less oxygen you're taking in. So a lot of people who start to use this wedge realize that they're not kind of reaching for the sugar or the coffee at, for 3:30 itis time. They're actually more oxygenated, more aware, more clear throughout the day. So this is a really important takeaway. This helps a lot with progressing your progress, okay, or improving your progress, okay. So the last one would be sleeping. I think this one's a really important one. I'll grab this, we'll move this around. Does anyone have any questions around the sitting or the standing just whilst we're here?
So crossing your knees would be horrific.
So good question, really good question. What people do naturally is that if they're sitting down, so I'll get back to the way you cross, but some people generally start to put their feet back behind like that when they're sitting. You'll find when you're out and about, maybe at the pub or something, you'll do that, right? What that's doing is it's creating that angle where the hip is higher than the knee. So your body innately wants to get into this position to get you upright so you're not slumping. Now, when you cross, if you're crossing with your legs out in front, it's not going to be ideal, right? We're rounding through the back. We still have that angle, but we're kind of compensating for the balance of the legs going forward. So you will naturally get more of a kyphotic posture through there. You can't be like this all day. I get it, and when your body is in pain, by the way, pain is really a symptom, and that's the last thing that comes up. Remember when we were talking about the safety pin cycle and how it causes dysfunction, disease, damage? Pain is the last thing to come up. It's the last thing to show, right? It is the very last thing. So remember, there's been a process that's been happening in your body for quite some time. And so when people hit this critical point, for example, they might drop a pen on the floor, pick up the pen, boom, there goes the back. And they're like, if only I didn't pick up that pen, I would have been fine. No, it's been a process. Your body has been giving messages to that person, I would guarantee, for years, sometimes 10, 15, 20 years. But just in that moment, the body can't compensate anymore, and it's given up. And it said, well, now you have to do something about it because I can't keep going on like this. That's it. Pain is only a message from the body to the brain to change. Okay? So, hopefully that answers your question, Lindsay, somewhat. So don't cross the legs.
How bad it is crossing the leg like this?
Yeah, again, pretty bad.
Nothing again?
Look, I'm guilty of it. We're all guilty of it, right? But as long as, again, if you sat like that, your body's going to say move, okay? And you're doing that because your body's uncomfortable, right? You want to cross your leg because your body's uncomfortable, right? Because you're trying to get it into a position of comfort. So get up, have a little walk around, come back, sit down, okay? Listen to the body's signals. Listen to the body's messages. That's a big takeaway for today, okay? All right, so sleeping. This one's pretty important. How are we going for time? 5 minutes? Cool. This one's pretty important. Let me make sure this doesn't move. Yeah, there we go. All right. There we go. Regan, do you want to jump on again? So who thinks that, what's the best way to sleep? What's the best sleeping positions, do you think? Side, stomach, or back? Back, side. No one said stomach, right? Good. Is anyone a stomach sleeper in here?
My baby.
All good for now. We'll have a chat later. No, right. So if anyone's a stomach sleeper, then you have to start changing that immediately. Because when you're having a snooze, here you are on your stomach. This is your spine. Obviously, you're looking, here's the back of your skull. You're looking straight down. You cannot breathe with your head in the pillow. Okay? So you have to turn your head. Sometimes people will cock a knee, like a frog leg. Can you see how we're kind of rinsing out the spine for 6 to 8 hours of the night? Remember, we want a clean, free-flowing state of information. That is being twisted and almost rinsed out. So you can understand why you would wake up sore in the morning. The other thing is that's critical, absolutely critical, is your bed. So if your bed is soft, all of this stuff here, in terms of the adjustments, is redundant. I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen for you. Because what happens is that soft beds or bad backs like soft beds. So you're going to fold and round in, and again, for 6 to 8 hours a night, you are not going to hold the adjustments that we want. So look at changing the bed to as firm as possible. The mattress has to be as firm as you could possibly take, okay? We have mattresses here if you want any information around that, okay? But really, firm as possible. If you're sitting there going, oh yeah, my mattress is pretty soft, well, I guarantee it is. If you're thinking about it, it is. It's soft, 100%, because you haven't tried a firm mattress yet. What you'd want to do is if it's 6 to 8 years old, you want to either switch the mattress, flip it upside down if you can, if it doesn't have one of the pillow top things, or turn it around the other way. Also, the slats underneath, the ones that are like the bendy, sort of springy, soft slats, not great as well. They don't hold that stability, that firmness through the mattress. So you want like a flat base as possible. If you're buying beds and mattresses, by the way, you want a flat base there too. So takeaway, if your mattress is soft, really consider changing and upgrading that. Even if it's over 10 years old, you must consider changing your mattress, okay? Oh, and by the way, the roll-up mattresses, they only last about a year to year and a half. So you need something with double coil deep spring, something that holds its firmness. The ones that come delivered rolled up won't last long, okay? And that goes to sitting as well, by the way. Oh, this is huge, is the couch. Right? Who has a couch? Who's sitting on the couch where they throw their legs up and they kind of just sink into it? Yeah, right? And sometimes the neck hurts, right? Sometimes when you get out, the back hurts. That's, again, a message from your body saying, I don't like that. Okay? So what we have to do is we have to adopt sleeping postures on the couch. So we have to be flat, okay? We have to hold our alignment on the couch. Deep couches that are very low to the ground are terrible, okay? Because, again, guess what posture the knees are in? You're really creating that flex through the lower back. So those deep-seated, very soft couches are no good. So try to adopt a sleeping position. So going into the sleeping position. Let's try first. Why don't we try a back sleeping posture? So do you want to have your head this end? Now, some people sleep with potentially 2 or 3 pillows, okay, on their back. Does anyone sleep on their back with more than 1 pillow? Yeah? Okay. Sorry guys, I'm going to get back in view here. I think you can see me. Yeah, cool. So let's just say these are 2 pillows, okay? Now, you can already see how flexed Regan's neck is there, okay? Now just look at his breath pattern. Look what happens when he breathes. Breathe in. And breathe out, let it go. I want you to see how the rhythm of the breath kind of gets caught up here, around here. Go again, breathing in, big breath, and breathe out, let it go. So just have a look at that. See how his breath is only getting to that point there. Head up, head down. Now breathe in again. Can we see how much fuller that breath is now? Can we see how the breath is going all the way up into the upper lobes of the lungs there? Can you see that? Give me a nod if you can see it. Yep, good. This is something that I use. This is like just a little memory foam pillow. Look, we have these pillows here, but what I'm going to show you is a way to fold a towel to gain the same kind of height if you're a back sleeper. Now, there is really no I mean, if you're a back sleeper, stay back sleeping. If you're a side sleeper, stay side sleeping. Okay, it's really about what you're comfortable with. We need to work in those parameters. Is back or side better? Look, it really depends on how comfortable you are and how long you can hold these postures throughout the evening. So I'm going to show you the towel roll now of how you would do a towel roll if you want to kind of drop your pillow height here. So what we're going to do is, so those of you, I would try this tonight if you're back sleepers. Anyone back sleeper? Yeah, okay. So try this tonight, okay, with this towel roll. Look, it's going to be uncomfortable. You're going to wake up, you're going to throw the towel on the floor at about 3 in the morning and go for your old pillow. That's fine, and it'll be annoying. It'll take you about 2 or 3 weeks to get used to it. I was there, I've done it all. And that's what happened to me. But you'll sleep, you'll wake up. If you're in the right position, guys, when you get these sleeping postures right, you are going to wake up feeling so refreshed that it actually will blow your mind. And it's just a matter of just changing some of these postures. Of course, I'm really talking about the physical structure here. You know, if we've got a whole lot of emotional, mental stresses going on, you might not sleep as deep. But in terms of a physical position, this is the way to do it. So you get a towel like so, you fold it in half, we fold it in half again. So from here, we're going to create thirds, like so. Okay, can we see how we've created thirds there? We're going to fold out 1/3 and then we're going to roll, or 2/3, and we're going to roll that 2/3 to meet that 1/3. So you can see how we've created a little bit of a kind of a little bridge for the neck here. That's where the neck goes under there. So head up, head down, we're kind of in the hole there. You can adjust that and move it where you're comfortable. But breathe in again, breathe out, let it go. See that breath? Really nice, okay? Now, probably best to use a beach towel. It's a bit softer and it will give you a little bit, it's a bit bigger as well, so it'll give you a bit more volume into the back of the neck. So beach towel for this is fantastic. If you don't have seat wedges at home, or if you want to try a towel roll, remember this doesn't have the rigidity or the firmness that a seat wedge will have, but it's essentially folding in half again and then just creating those thirds and putting that at the back of the chair, okay? So you can try that as well, but of course use the slump test to see if it works. Now, as a side sleeper, which I kind of grew out of, I used to be a side sleeper, now I'm a back sleeper. A side sleeper is really quite interesting. Yes, it will compress your shoulder, but if you have a firm bed, it will keep your spine in a really nice alignment, okay? Now, pillow height is everything, as we can tell. So let's try this again. So with these pillows that I have here, you can see that they've got all of these different levels or these different kind of heights here. So we're going to kind of play around with that, all right? So Regan, just jump on your side first. And we're going to go way too high, okay? And we just see the difference. So just from there, breathe in, breathe out, keep your eyes closed, let the body go. So I want you to guys keep an eye on his eyes and the facial expressions of what happens there and see what happens to his body as well. When people generally are in a decent state of alignment and they're sleeping and the pillow's too high, they're generally going to roll their arm back. So what will happen throughout the night, he's going to be rolling kind of this way, and the arm might start to go over the head. So if people kind of sleep with their arms over the head, that might be a reason that their pillow height is too high. When the pillow height is too low, so I'll just do this here, so pop your head down, see how this shoulder rolled forward? Big time. So when the pillow height is too low, you're going to roll forward, okay? The other thing that's going to happen is you might want to put a hand under your pillow as well. You might want to give yourself a bit more kind of height with the pillow. So what we'll do, yeah, exactly. So what we'll do now is we'll try and find the right height. So let's start with this, breathing in, breathing out, relax the body. And you let me know what feels comfortable, because it's quite subjective. He's going to go, whoa, I could fall asleep, right? I've actually had someone literally fall asleep when I was doing this in the evening, because we found the right height. I left her there for a couple of minutes. She literally was snoring. So when you have the right height, it is spot on. Not quite there yet, are we? Higher. So let's try that one there. Breathe in, breathe out, relax the body, let it go. Getting there, a little bit higher maybe. Let's try the smaller one. See how we go there. Breathe in, breathe out, relax the shoulders, let the body go. See, he was almost there. His eyes, how's that feeling?
Good.
Almost there. His eyes are still flickering though. So I feel, so I want the eyes to just be like still. That's a thing that you can pick up, is that the eyes will, as you sort of breathe in, breathe out, your eyes might flicker, you might move a little bit. You're not there yet. You want to be literally like at a point that you're going to fall straight asleep. How's it feeling now? Do you want to go higher or lower?
Probably a little bit lower.
A little lower. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll take the big one out. We'll try this one and then this one here. Okay. So close the eyes, breathing in, breathing out. It's getting there, isn't it? That feels pretty good.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, so the muscles are getting even more relaxed in that position. What do we do next? Let's just try this one here. Let me know how you feel on this one there. I'm looking at his eyes. That's the main thing with Regan. Breathing in, breathing out, relax your shoulders. There you go. Close your eyes. So keep the eyes closed. Just breathe again. Looking pretty good. How's that feeling? Pretty good?
Last one as well.
Yeah, okay. Okay. So look, it's a matter of playing around with this pillow height. Okay, try again. Breathing in. Because I'm seeing the breath come in easier. I'm seeing there was no flicker in the eyes on that one. How's that feel there?
Good.
Good.
Stay good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see, so I think we found it, right? It's a matter of kind of playing around with it, all right? Use your pillow at home, but again, grab a towel, fold it in half again. You might need 3, you might need 4 towels. You might need to unfold a towel from this halfway position, right, to just having just an open towel like that. Like, it's millimeter perfect with this, guys. So really, I want you to try it out. Also, what's super important, which I just want to maintain now, is this. The pillow between the legs. Okay, this is so important because as side sleepers, what generally tends to happen is that people will sleep like that. Okay, who sleeps like that here? Yep, cool. So again, if we are sleeping with the leg kind of crossing over, have a look. Bang. See what's happening into the spine there? All of this is twisting in here, and then we have to compensate up through the neck as well for that twist down below. So always make sure you sleep with a pillow between the knees. That's just going to stop you from rolling that leg over, like so, okay? You can go all the way up to 90 degrees if you want. You can even sort of koala bear hug your pillow as well if you need.
Isn't
all right?
that too small for the one that you put in the neck?
Oh, this one's probably, yeah, it's probably a bit small. You probably just want a normal size pillow. Up to you, whatever, you know, makes you feel more comfortable.
Is
Okay?
this forever and ever?
Well, unless you're comfortable that you're not going to put one leg over the other, then yes, it would be forever. Okay? Or you could get like a pillow for your dog or your husband or something like that. Whatever. Stop it. Okay, whatever you can find, all right, to stop you from twisting through that lower back. Any questions there? All pretty good? Thanks, Regan. Cheers, mate. Thank you. So, cool. So just want to recap that obviously what we're working with is more than just correcting your posture. It's more than just helping you breathe, right? I like to use that, the analogy of rebooting your system, turning off the phone, starting again. It is the connection of the brain to the body and the communication between brain, body, brain, right? When we take away the interference to the nervous system, you are able to live your best life, not just pain-free. You're going to have energy. You're going to be clear, right? You are going to be able to do everything that you want to. You're going to be able to live your best life, okay? So chiropractic is so much more than just getting cracked. And I hope that you can understand that after today's little spiel, okay? So please try the sitting, sleeping and standing things tonight. Try to break those bad habits. Remember, this 3-legged stool is what's going to get you better, okay? So really make sure you commit to the care plan, the adjustments in rhythm, breaking the bad habits. And remember, the exercises, we will prescribe those, but at the moment, it's just making sure, remember, not running over 6 or 7 Ks and not doing those long-held postures in yoga, like yin, for example, just for the minute, just whilst you're first starting your care plan. Okay, so guys, as you can tell, we're on a bit of a mission here. I don't think you would have heard this from many chiropractors at the moment, but this is really what we're trying to deliver for our community here. So if you know of anyone, any friends or family that really can be, you know, that will find us this service, the information tonight useful, we are going to hand out a couple of cards for you. Regan will hand these out for you. These are just half price off the initial consult for your friend, your family member, and yourself will get a free or complimentary session for handing that out. So we're here to try and help as many people as we can, okay? Regan and I are really happy to continue your care, and if you guys have any other questions, just let us know, but better call it there for today. Any questions at all before we all close?
I have a question.
Yes.
When you talk about the lunge position, you know, today's lunge, I love to have the adjustment, the head.
Yes.
Like, can I lie down to leave my boat? Is that not good to my...
Yeah, so again, if you remember that your body is going to be the biggest indicator of what's going to be a comfortable position. If you find that you're like this, but it's pushing your head, and within 5 minutes it's pushing your head forward, and within 5 minutes you feel that that is stressful to the neck, right? You're going to have to just go completely flat, okay, and read your book like this. All right, it's just about managing, not pushing through these little messages that your body's been giving you, because we're so good at that. We're so good at taking anti-inflammatories, painkillers. We're so good to just kind of douse the information that the body's receiving. So it's about really being in tune with yourself and really understanding what your body needs. So I'm happy for you to be in a good posture to read, but if it starts hurting your neck, obviously take it to a sleeping position, okay?
So before bedtime, if you put another pillow on your back and you leave, because many people leave before sleep.
Yeah,
So
sure.
is that also not a good position?
Look, I read in bed. All right, so it's fine. As I said, just make sure that you listen to your body. Try to adopt as flat as position as possible, but just listen to your body. If you're feeling a bit sore and a bit tight, maybe get up, walk, or turn over, find another position. Just don't stay in those really positions where your arms are going to get, pins and needles and all the rest of it, okay? Because those of you who have tight necks, that again, it's when we talked about the tone of the body, we can actually grade those the muscle tone in your body 1 through 5, right? 5 being the highest tone. And if you're not breaking the bad habits, if the stress responses are still there, remember we talked about thoughts, trauma, and toxins, that is going to continue. So we really need to know what's stressing out the system and finding ways to manage that, okay? So I know you do a lot of meditation as well, which is fantastic in terms of taking that tone down and finding balance through your system too, okay? And also finding congruence between heart and head. All right, so anyone else have any questions?
Having small heels is better than not having heels both for women and...
I think you'd look sexy in any heels, Camilla. Look, as I said before, it's a little heel lift that we noticed there with our slump test does help. But so yes, in short, smaller heels are better. But as soon as the body gets into an unstable position, like as I said, it throws the hips forward, we're going to have to compensate, or the women here are going to have to compensate for that. All right. So as soon as we get the heels that throw us forward, the compensation is here. Okay. So obviously the higher the heels, the more compensation you're going to have to make. So yes, better just to have a ballet shoe with a little heel lift in it than heels itself. Okay. Cool.
I've seen people using a sensor that you can stick here, and that's going to send you a message when your position is not good.
Love these questions. Love these questions. The reason, okay, I'm going to give you an answer to that. Okay. I do like it because it's putting an afferent, remember the nervous system? It's putting an impulse into the system to wake up, to get in a good position. Now, that is better than actually putting on, those harnesses that kind of strap your shoulders back. Has anyone broken a body part here? No? Well, have anyone know someone who's broken an arm? It goes and it's put in a cast for about 6 to 8 weeks, okay? As soon as that cast has been taken off, so the bone has been immobilized so it can heal, but the muscles start to atrophy. So it's half the size of the other arm. So if you can imagine you've got a brace, a posture sling, right? That as soon as you take that off, boom, the muscles haven't developed to a point where you want to be able to hold, and the main thing is, you're not putting that afferent signal into the nervous system, nor are you correcting the nerve interference through an adjustment. And when people crack themselves, they might not be adjusting the right joint. In fact, I know that they're not always, 99% of the time, they're going to adjust a joint above or below the stuck joint. Okay, and yes, it will give you relief because there is that signaling to the brain and the body, but that might not be what is required for that point in time. So to answer your question, yeah, I actually like those things that give you the reminder, but these seat wedges, much better, because again, it puts you into a position where you have to always be on, right? And you have to use those postural support muscles to actually sit yourself there, and you'll create those pathways without that sort of constant impulse, right? But I don't mind those things. Definitely better than the slings that I see out there. Cool. All good? Yep. Nice. Yes.
In terms of reading in bed, do you think it's better to just like have a seat next to your bed and sit there rather than?
I do, yeah, definitely, because you know when I'm reading in bed, right?
Oh,
yeah,
all
side,
sorts
back.
you do this, then you get sore arms.
And exactly. So yeah, if you can have a seat wedge, a better seat, much better. But as long as you like moving, you know, and you're, as I said before to Fiona, as long as you're listening to those body signals and you are moving and you are not just kind of letting the arm go completely dead, that you can't even, you know, turn the page. As long as you're listening to your body and you're moving, and yes, sitting, to avoid that, sitting and reading would be a much better position, much better idea.
Last question. For the laptop, is there a position that I have to monitor?
Great question again. So I would advise that you do a couple of things. If are you sitting down using the laptop? So we're going to be like this, right? You need a keyboard, okay? You need a mouse. So separate to the laptop, right? And you need to elevate the keyboard. So what happens is that generally we're looking at the laptop and it's down here. The top of the screen needs to be at eye level. Yeah, at eye level. So you're slightly looking down at the top of the screen. So if you've got your laptop, that's not going to work. So buy a stand or a couple of books, put the laptop up so you can use the screen right in front of you at eye level. Buy the keyboard and the Mac or the mouse and use it so the elbow is in at the ribs, okay? And when you're typing, the elbows are in at the ribs. And again, seat wedge, the seat is just using that seat wedge and being able to use your slump test to make sure you're in the right position. Yeah, good question. Cool. Anyone else? No? Well, it's over. So, yeah, it's over. It's 2 o'clock. We're about 15 minutes over. So, better call it there. Thank you guys at home. Thanks for joining. And thank you, everyone, for coming through.